Now, these are not going to be as good as the usual results, just so you know, and that's just because it's it's difficult material, and it's difficult for people who work in the field. So, I don't know if I told you this before, but the CPA exam, you need about 75% to pass. So you can imagine, it's tough test. It's tough to get 75%, and it's stuff like this. But I mean, it's it's a little more tricky. Okay, number 1, B is correct. You guys chose B. Is correct. 2 is B. That was unanimous. 3 is B. You guys get that one correct. That's one usually people miss, but you guys got it. Very good. 4 is B. Five is D. So accrued revenue means that you're owed money, and so you won't have the accounts receivable, and you won't have the revenues either. You guys are doing fantastic. Just for a second. Okay. C, number 6 is correct. D, which ironically is the same number as 6, is also correct. If I put those both on the test, don't expect that to be the case, but anyway. 8, D. And this one is a little bit tricky because it's monthly. So it's $2,400 a year, but it is divide that by 12 because it's every month, and you guys did fine on that. Well, you got all 4 points. So these last 2 are just frosting on the cake. C is accumulated depreciation would just be for 1 year. So the balance in the accumulated depreciation account would be. Now be careful. I see where this one came in. Be careful because it's asking for what's the balance in the accumulated depreciation account, not what the value of the asset would be on the books. So this is one of those ones that 7,200 is what the value of it would be, but they're just asking for what would be the accumulated depreciation, and that would be 1,800. And the last one. You perform service to the client that has not been billed. A. All right, well, you missed the last 2, but the last 2 didn't matter because you got the first 8 right. So, okay. 4 points for everybody. I'm gonna stop sharing. Give me 1 second. I gotta download this. It's on the desktop for now. Okay. Okay, well, this blank screen probably isn't doing anybody any good, so let's go ahead and I will pull up. Part 2. Okay. So part 2, these are the ones that are on there. These are kind of some of the more general ones that are you'll see on the exam. So, okay, first one probably the more difficult of them, and the question is, how much of the supplies are used? That's kind of the question we're asking here. Is it were used or was used? Because I thought that how much would be was, but I'm not sure. Okay, do anyone have this? You want to figure it out? Nobody? Okay, so supplies available is what, 760? So that's the most we could possibly use, that. But we go out and they say, okay, $200 of supplies left, so the ending supplies is and ending supplies, if you think about it, is this are supplies that are not used, right? We haven't used them yet. And I got to redo my spacing. So 200 of them were not used. So the supplies used would be what is that, 560? Okay, so so we got to take out of supplies. Well, first of all, the easiest way to do this would be supplies expense. Expenses are always debits. 560. And we take it out of supplies. Our supplies are going down by 560. We no longer have 760 in there. We've used up $560 of those. So we take 560 out of there. No longer there. Well, that's the journal entry for that one. And again, one thing you can do when you take the test, I mean, when you get done with it, go through and just make sure all the expenses are debits and all the revenues are going to be credits. So when you get done with the test, you kind of just go through it, make sure the expenses should all be debits. Revenues should all be credits. So you just, once you're done with it, go back and just check and make sure. 1 year insurance policy is purchased for $1,500. September. Tire policies recorded for a debit to prepaid insurance. Okay, so $1,500 divided by 12 months equals some number. Time for Mr. Calculator. 125. Most people will get this. The hard part is the next one. How many months did we use? For number 12.
12.
How many?
4.
4, yep. Cutting and pasting. Me being lazy.
How did you figure it was 4 months used?
Good question. We took it at the beginning. We did it at the beginning of September. So we're going to include all of September, October, November, and then December for the end of the year. So this is at year end.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Okay. Yeah, so and that's good. And actually, if people that miss this one, almost always they get the 125 correct. Whatever the monthly is. It's the number of months, and it is and by the way, having been an auditor, it's not that uncommon of a mistake that people make who do this for a living. So, as an auditor, I can tell you that a big chunk of the stuff that you find that it's entered incorrectly are these adjusting entries, because they take a lot more whatever thought. Okay, so what is it? 500?
Yes.
So this is what we actually use. Okay, so easiest thing to do, think about the expense. Expenses are always debits. And then whatever goes on the other side will all right, so what is this? Prepaid insurance. Yeah, they had a debit to prepaid insurance, so we're going to credit prepaid insurance. Right, it was a debit to it, so we're going to credit it. What happened here? Yeah, and so then again, whenever you have an expense, it's a debit. Okay. Employees are paid a total of $1,500 for a 5-day week. Okay, so wages are 1,500 divided by 5-day week. Equals, was it 300 a day? I think it's $300 a day. Okay, and ooh, I need to fix my spacing here. And we had, let's see, so December 31st is on a Wednesday. So this is important. So how many days have they earned? Have the employees earned wages?
3.
3, yeah. Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I know the days of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they earn, so that'll be 3. So that'll be. Oops, equals 900. And again, the 3 days of the week would be the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so they're going to work 2 more days. Those last 2 days will be in the next period. So this is 2021. So these other 2 days, Thursday, Friday, will be in 2022. Oh, we can, sorry, get to the journal entry. Okay, do the probably expenses first, wages, expense for 900. Let's go on the other side here. What's going to go? We need a credit. What's going to be the credit? Oh, come on, you're toying with me.
Accounts payable.
Yep, accounts payable. It could be wages payable. Accounts payable is fine. Some kind of a payable. We owe the money. Yeah, so this is oh, actually, no, I should put what that is. It's a liability. So we owe $900 on Wednesday. Haven't paid them, won't pay them till the end of the week, but we owe them 900. Okay, 3 more and we're done. Machine was purchased for $16,000. It will last 5 years and then be scrapped. Okay, so we're going to depreciate this. Cost is 16,000. More divided by 5 years. Equals some number. I'll give you a more specific number in a second here. 3,200. Okay, so it'll be 3,200. Will be depreciation. So every year we're going to depreciate that amount. And the morbid way to remember the journal entry. E and A D. So DEA, at the end of its life, it's dead. Morbid, but usually it helps some. Okay, so depreciation expense. Oops. Yeah, this is accumulated depreciation. Oops. This is a contra account. And actually, it's a contra asset account. To be more specific, it's going against an asset. Going against the equipment. So there's equipment, or if you put a machine, that's fine too. Contra asset to equipment or machine, depending on which one it is. Okay, so this is 3,200. Oops. And you make the same exact journal entry 5 times. Oh, you basically, yep. All right, missed that one. I missed the chat message. Okay. 15 is unearned revenue totaling 2008-10 had been earned. So we had unearned revenue, and now it is 28, 10 of it is earned. By the way, if you ever, one of the jobs for accounting that's actually fairly in demand all the time is for construction companies. A lot of times they'll get deposits and then they have to go and see how much is earned and all that. Your whole, a huge amount of your work is this. How much you're building 14 houses, in 2 buildings, and how much of it is earned. It's, these can be, pretty big chunks of your business. Okay, so year-end it's only had been earned. Okay, so, the question is, do we have a revenue or an expense? Because all these are going to have a revenue or an expense. I should probably put that in. So which one do we have in this case?
Revenue.
Yep, revenue. I don't know why I crossed it. Okay, revenues. Nice thing about revenues is, and this is, you can also put earned in there. Revenues are always credits. So whatever goes on the other side, has to be a debit. Okay, and what goes on the other side will be this, right? Unearned revenue. It's a liability. Unearned revenue really isn't a revenue at all. It's a liability. Actually, you guys got that 100% on the test, so I don't know why I'm saying that again. It's a liability and it's going down. Notice that Word never likes my new way of spelling things. I'm trying to advance our language, eliminating some letters that we don't need. All right, so our liability is going down. And we earn this. So as revenues, you can think about it as revenues earned. I told you this, by definition, revenues are earned, but you can put it in there. There's nothing wrong with this. Oops, there's something wrong with that. Nothing wrong with this. That may not be a bad way to think about it. Okay. Revenues of 1,300 have been.
Sorry, can you go back up for one more second, please?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Revenues. That's a nice hint. Of 1,300 had been earned but not billed. So we earn these, did not bill them. Well, and again, revenues earned. Nice thing about revenues, they are always credits. So easy, it's boring. So revenues are always credits. Oops, no, I guess it's not so easy. What's going to be on the other side? Now we know it's going to be a debit, whatever it is. What account are we going to have over here? Oh, come on, you guys are toying with me. It's the last one. Very last one. Oh, it's in the chat. Close. What is it when someone owes us money?
Accounts receivable.
Yep. So accounts receivable asset going up. But truthfully, I mean, to make the journal entry, you don't even need to know that because revenues are always credits. So whatever's on the other side, whatever the count is. Well, Mickey Mouse, and it would be a debit because the credit's going to be the revenue. Yeah, and so one thing you do when you get done with the test is just to go through and make sure all your expenses are debits. Make sure all your revenues are credits. And I mean, at least that way, the debits and credits will be right. If you put something crazy in here, you might lose a point or something. But for most of the part, the journal entry is going to be correct. Any question on that? Yes.
Yeah, can you scroll back up to 14 real quick? Oh, there you go.
14, and we also saw someone says number 11. I'll look at it. I'll bring it back up to number 11 in a minute here too.
All right, thank you.
All right, and number 11. Number 11 is probably the most difficult one. And this is the one that probably people only get this okay. This one, the calculations are a little bit trickier. Just as a heads up, this is what we're going to be doing in the next chapter or the chapter after that? I can't remember. I can't remember if depreciation comes before the, I think I do this chapter next. I think it's inventory stuff.
After we look at 11, could you also show number 12 really quick? I think I just missed something on it.
No problem. Yeah, and this one, we had for the last 4 months of the year, and be careful on this one because it was. And by the way, I think on all of them I put them as being purchased on the first of the month. But if this is purchased at the end of the month, like September 29th or whatever, you would not count September. You'd go to the next month. The actual up to the 15th, they usually say is that month, and then after we go to the next month. So you kind of round it off to the nearest month. So this would be, now this one we had all of September. So this is the tricky one. Do you have it in September? And this one, because it's on the first, yeah, the answer is yes. We did use it for all of September, and October, November, December. Yeah, if people miss this one, they usually miss, or one like this, they usually say, okay, bought in September, so we had it for October, November, December. It depends on when you bought it in September. Any other ones? Any other ones you guys want to see? Okay. Well, I will go ahead and I'll go ahead and send out the exam. It probably won't go out for like another. I'm gonna look it over before I send it out. Maybe 2 hours or something. Other things are new material. I don't mind making up other, putting on other problems in that for you guys to work through. If you want that, if you think that'll help, I definitely do it. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I'm not going to make it the question is there more material that we can study to go over this stuff? I don't mind putting out lots of material and the solutions in that to work through it. So yeah, I can do that. I'm not going to put it as part of the grades. I don't, but I can put out extra assignments that have, so you can work through these. I'm not doing that at all. And what I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and post those in the handouts. I'll put in extra problems in the handouts. These journal entries are pretty much the same between all textbooks and all that kind of stuff. There's a million of them out there that we can put in. So, all right. Any questions? But now the exam itself is going to be very similar to what we just did. The questions, some will be identical. The problems, usually I just change the numbers. I don't think I changed any of the wording on it. I'll take a look when I look at it today, but I don't think I do. I don't think I changed any of the wording on the exam. So anyway, here's the whole point of this course. I want you to be able to know about how this accounting stuff comes together and how the numbers come together. A lot of you guys are going to be managers, and it makes a difference as far as how these things all come together, and it's good to know how they come together. And you may very well have parts of your job and your bonus and everything else tied up in how this stuff comes together. So it's good to know this kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I will go ahead and post some additional problems if you want to work through them. And then what I'll probably do is have the problems and then also the solutions at the end of them. So if you want to get more work, you can do that. Okay, any other questions?
Do you have a minute after class?
I do.
Thanks.
All right, well, if you don't have any questions, I will wave goodbye to you. And you guys probably have classes you got to get to anyways. And I will send out the exams will probably be out in, I'll try to figure them out like in a couple hours. Just I want to look over it before I send them out. So.